Okay.
Hi.
Well, welcome. This will be the last one in the calendar year, but certainly not in the academic year. So thank everybody for coming. Good afternoon. I know it's campus and the weekend starts on Thursday afternoon or later, but and everybody's here. We have a quorum. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. And the first thing I'd like to do is ask for approval of the September 18th meeting's minutes. Are there any additions, corrections, or anything anybody would like to add? Julie,
I'd like to move to accept the minutes.
your second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Sad but happy occasion. And Michelle, who is a stalwart forever, has worked her way through the entire, I say almost the university, right? Her way up to the,
Just this building.
no, yeah, right. Oh,
From,
and you've been involved in everything. You, like on the soccer field, like you've been involved. It's not accurate to say this building because you've been a force on campus for decades and a positive force and so dedicated and so talented. And we appreciate everything you've done. And for the untold people who aren't here to tell you that, there's students who don't even know your name, but they're certainly beneficiaries of what you did to keep things together, to manage things. Not always easy, juggling, and I'm sure you had many sleepless nights that you gave to this university. And we're appreciative of it, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And it's not easy, but you are always on top of things. And not only are you on top of things presently, but you've always had the long gaze in the future. And the experience really paid off because you saw the rolling landscape of the university and finance in the state system. So thank you for so adroitly handling financial affairs. I couldn't be more sincere, and I really mean that. And I've seen it and everybody here has seen it, but there's so many other people who recognize it as well. And I'm sure they'd like to say the same things. So thank you. On that note, Shelley, who's more verbose than me, has assisted in writing a proclamation. So this one, presented. But Michelle, you're also partially at fault because you have a litany of accomplishments. And it's just amazing to see them laid out. So thank you. So Shelley, if you would you read the proclamation?
Sure. A resolution of appreciation for Michelle C. Halstead. Whereas Michelle C. Halstead has provided exemplary service to the SUNY New Paltz Council in her role as Vice President for Administration and Finance from 2013 to 2025. And whereas she also served the university, her alma mater, faithfully and with distinction in roles of increasing responsibility from 1990 to 2012 as Assistant Director of Accounting Services, as Director of Accounting Services, and as Assistant Vice President for Administration and Finance, always with a student-centered focus. And whereas she has ensured the university's financial viability and integrity, as she has steered the personnel of multiple large units across campus and provided transitional leadership on several occasions. And whereas during the transformation of the university's student information systems to Banner in 2006, 2007, she led the finance team in successfully transferring more than 150 accounts, $1.4 million in transactions totaling $70 million. And whereas she played a pivotal role in recovery efforts on campus when Hurricane Irene and Tropical Storm Lee struck the university, flooding the Haggerty Administration Building, she worked tirelessly to restore key business functions, equipment, and infrastructure destroyed by the storms. And whereas Vice President Halstead is in pulling the campus through the financial and operational upheaval of the COVID-19 pandemic and other crises through the years, always with a positive outlook and an eye toward what was best for students. And whereas Halstead has made an immeasurable impact through service initiatives on campus and in the community, including annual campus cleanup days, the Workplace with Heart Committee, the Employee Assistance Program Committee, the Banner Steering Committee, Campus Auxiliary Services Board, the Intercollegiate Athletics Board, the Golf Scholarship Tournament Committee, the New Paltz Athletic League, the Children's Center Board, and multiple charitable organizations. And whereas Halsted has led the SUNY-wide Accounting Budget Bursar Committee, served as president of the State University Business Officers Association, known as SABOA, from 2019 to 21, bless you, and earned the SABOA 2022 Robert J. Wagner Business Officer of the Year Award, as well as the 2010 Chancellor's Award for Excellence in Professional Service. And whereas Halsted will step down as vice president effective December 31, 2025, and continue to contribute to SUNY and SUNY New Paltz in a less demanding role in order to devote more time to her family. And whereas this council is desirous of recognizing and thanking her for her 12 years of dedication and leadership for the university and the work of the council, and her 35+ years of exemplary service to the university and generations of students, therefore, be it resolved that this council pays special tribute to Michelle C. Halsted, and be it further resolved that these preambles and resolutions be entered upon the minutes of the council and a copy thereof be presented to her. Adopted by the hopefully adopted by the council of the University of New York, New Paltz on the 20th day of November, 2025.
Thank you, Shelley. And I'd ask for a motion to approve the resolution, which is so well-deserved.
So moved.
Second, everybody unanimously. Thank you, Michelle.
Oh,
It's been a big wow. Thank you. You've been, I can't believe. Just, it's looking back, a long way back.
yeah.
And a lot has gone into it. And it's
Thank you.
congratulations. And enjoy the next chapter. Hey, now, listen, this was the report. How are things going?
How are things going? Well, good afternoon and welcome to Julie. Good to see you, Renee, and Renee on our remote side and those viewing by simulcast. So there are a number of things that have been going on in campus. I also with campus climate at this point, and I don't mean the temperature. We've just come off of yesterday's meeting with our students for the Student Association, Residence Hall Student Association. And I think that's a fairly reasonable, our president's not here yet of the essay, but it's a reasonable barometer for where we are. And if you listen to the students yesterday, their focus on attending the General Assembly. The number one threat to students today, food on campus, surprise, the quintessential issue. So the Food Concerns Committee has been very active. Quality of food, quantity, diversity. I bet whatever college you went to, you're familiar with that experience. So that was good. The academic focus of the students seems to be solid. The students are looking forward to the end of the semester. They're doubling down on activities, working internships, classrooms, and again, as my colleagues say, don't jinx anything, but our students right now feel as if they're really engaging in the collegiate experience and trying to gather as much as they can. One example of that today, I had the pleasure of meeting with students from the Scholars Mentors Program. This is run by Mark Rumnett, and it's been in existence for 20+ years probably, or some such. And the students in that program, 10 of them went on a trip that was co-sponsored between the Alumni Relations Group and the SMP program. The students have a video which will go live today. So when you see that video come up in your link, I'd encourage you to see it. That speaks volumes to where our students are. They took this opportunity, and our alumni who live in Atlanta sponsored the trip. They collected donations from the alumni there. They paid for airfare, house, the whole bit, and covered for 10 students. And those students went to businesses. They went to panels. They participated in a number of educational opportunities with our alum from Atlanta. One student today told me that she must admit the most fun was the bowling. But students, they also, before they left, they went over to our career closet. Our career closet is a space on campus where gently worn clothing can be donated. And the students spoke today about how it helped them to feel ready for the trip. Some of the students, this was their first air travel. This was their first trip outside of the greater New York area, and that the planning in the meeting helped them to prepare for what it meant to be on an airplane, how to present. The team in SMP helped them to develop their own business cards. So they had business cards while they were on the trip. These students were absolutely eloquent as ambassadors for what it means to get a SUNY New Paltz degree. I'm getting chills just recounting it and thinking about all the hands and why I'm bringing it up as an example. Career services, volunteers offering clothing, the time and energy prepping students, SMP that matches students with mentors when they start the program. All of these touch points are the things that we oversee that produce the kind of graduates we really want. So again, when you see that video go live today or tomorrow, please take a look at it. I think you'll be deeply impacted and appreciate even more why you do what you do on the council, how your role helps us to assure that the university stays in good stead as a community space to launch these types of students. I'll turn to space issues. We've had a number of openings. I forget in our last meeting if we'd officially had the ballroom open, but the ballroom, ribbon cutting, Mohonk ribbon cutting, the ACE, which is an academic support space, the ribbon cutting for that. Before that, we had kind of like a press conference. Before that, we had earlier gathering of ACE students. We have programs that another SUNY-driven initiative is the Academic Momentum, which is intended to help support enrollment, retention, and completion of students. Both of these initiatives are due in large part to the financial support that comes from the governor's office, from the state. And we really do owe respect and thanks to the legislators and the governor's office for making sure those funds have been available to our students. And they go, again, to do a lot of the work that's so critically important to our students' success. There are a few international programs that are coming up live within the SUNY system and revitalizing. So there's a new Puerto Rico initiative that's launching in terms of solidifying more strongly the relationship between the SUNY campuses and the collegiate space in Puerto Rico. So we'll be part of that network. There is a network of SUNY faculty administrators who are part of a Caribbean, more broadly than just Puerto Rico, a Caribbean network. I know you probably saw we signed a memorandum with the head of the educational department in Aruba to continue to look at new opportunities, and they are, so that's exciting. So there are a number of things happening on that front. Strategic plan. We are in implementation phase. We had a launch of the program September 25th, I believe it was. And since then, it's been all persons on deck. I understand, and our consultant, Dan, gave me an update today that our working groups are what we call our objective leads are really humming along. And there's a lot of activity. We have 30 objectives around 5 strategies for one goal, and that is creating the ideal.
I'm going to get them some booklets.
Okay, yes, booklets. Did you get booklets last time?
No.
No.
Yeah. So you saw them before they were official.
But they were collected and we were.
Using collateral. So my timing is right. Because it was actually the same day or the next day that we got your approval. So I'm glad we're going to get the booklets and the collateral. So the plan is up and humming. We're so glad you endorsed it. As I said, 1,200 people were part of it. The 30 objectives that are guiding the 5 strategies are all co-chaired by faculty or staff from across the campus. So that's another 60 touch points of folks taking on leadership and making this part of the community and not just a presidential initiative. It really is a dispersive kind of experience that will guide and drive us as we seek to achieve our next level. And as I said earlier, our strategic plan, for me, it's likening it to working on the plumbing and the electricity. So it doesn't have a lot of stuff in there about new programs and new fancy buildings, but solidifying our base the things internally that could cause us not to be successful in the future. So when you see the plan, and I thank OCM and Shelley's team for doing such a phenomenal job on producing the final product. And the bookmark is one of the collaterals. When you leave the meeting today, and those of you who haven't been to the campus for a while, the strategic plan's key elements are now outside the elevator, in the basement, on the wall. There's things there. On Excelsior Walk, which is in front of Sojourner Truth, there are banners that hold the values and key elements. So we really are trying to make this a living thing, that it reinforces who we are, who we aspire to be, so people can reflect on that regularly. So I'm very excited about the plan and its launch. And I think that's where I'll stop today and happy. I'm sorry. It's a segue into what Michelle will talk about a little bit later, but our fiscal sustainability is always top of mind. As a focused campus, we continue to work with SUNY administration on bringing our budgetary revenue and expenses into line so that by the year 28-29, we have a balanced budget. Clearly, we have work to do. Clearly, the uncertainties in state and federal funding are part of the backdrop, but on a day-to-day basis, we are focused on the things that we do on campus to achieve the activities that I described with the SMP students and others, because that's why we exist. And while I can't change what's going on in Albany or in Washington, D.C., I can, with the support of the vice presidents and all the people they direct, I can and we can really reinforce what we do every day on campus to try to make this the best learning space and to create the most ideal learning circumstance for our students. So Michelle will talk actual budget, but to give you that high level, and on that, I will stop so that I don't get to be the third most verbose person or the second or third.
I don't know who you're. Thank you. So the strategic plan, it's like a catalyst, and it's demonstrated cohesion for the campus. So all those moving parts come together and they have the same objective, and it's going to energize.
I think so.
And bring momentum going forward. And there's a lot of effort to do it. And now it's being implemented. So it's exciting to see it unfold. And it'll be interesting to see how well it succeeds.
And we'll get one.
Thank you. So
We'll get one in the mail to you, Julie.
yeah. Okay, yeah. So thank you. Anybody have any questions?
And Renee. She got one, I think, when she was here for.
Yeah. Anybody have any questions? And there was no problems. I thought it was just always like.
Oh, we have mold issues. We have problems, but as one of the students said today, the thing she learned is to learn how to be comfortable with discomfort.
That's it. And that's life. And that's why you come here, is to learn how to deal with problems and succeed. And you're doing a marvelous job. So thank you for your leadership. And I guess we'll talk about money. Michelle, this will be the last time you have to tell us how well we're doing. And
this is 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. Okay.
Hang on, folks. Hopefully I've got the right stuff up here. And
The 200-page book, every one of those. That's not.
all right, you all see?
Yeah.
Great, okay. Okay, so I don't have a lot to share because what we shared with you last time is what the president and I addressed at the annual campus budget forum earlier this month. Mostly talking about the stability plan, our current financial situation and the outlook for SUNY New Paltz and for SUNY. So I'll give you a brief update today as to where we stood on October 31st. So October 31st, we were, so we're going to talk about the progress toward our goals for 25-26. I'll give you a snapshot of the cash balance. It looks scary, but there's a reason. And we'll talk about the stability. So as of October 31st, some of the good news is the revenue from enrollments for room and tuition are tracking with our projections from the beginning of the budget year. So that's good. They are holding steady. Expenditures for this time period are at 31% of the annual budget, and we are at 33% of the year spent. So we're doing okay there. We'd like to see a little bit more shrinkage in the expenditure field, but at least we are not going over budget. Now, the cash. The green line represents this year, and you'll see that we took a nosedive in October, but there's a reason for that. Back in October, around the 20th, I think it was, you may have heard in the news about the Amazon Web Service disruption. And I'm not exactly sure what all the technical speak for this is, but there was some outages and it had affected some programs. The program that it affected most on this campus was through Banner, our student information system. And effectively what this Amazon Web Service issue did was rip off the Pell that we had placed on students for fall of '24 and for fall of '25, a total of about $16 million. So our IT, so when we talk about the problems and the challenges, our IT, which now is being led by Scott in operations, and financial aid housed in Vice President Turk's shop, have been working really hard to reinstitute all of the Pell on the student accounts. Long story short, you can't just make the adjustment on the account. When you touch federal financial aid, you actually have to send it back and then reauthorize it. So that nosedive represents us sending it back for fall of '25. And now we're currently working on fall of '24, sending that back this week to get it back next week. So that number will shoot up. But just to be fair and transparent, that's where we
That's how
are.
government works. You send it back and then it's like, it's that nickel that fell out of your pocket, goes down the sewer grate. You can get it back, but it's not so easy.
And the first iteration, the fall '25, we had to send back during the federal government shutdown.
So you anticipate getting back 100%,
Yes.
not 95?
There were a couple of challenges. Yeah, 1,000. Yeah, just a few accounts that we have to scrub through and get those monies back. But yes, we were really successful with fall of '25. We expect the same for fall of '24.
And how much person power did it take to do that?
A lot. It was
Weeks of work.
It was weeks of work, but thankfully we didn't have to do it all manually. IT came up with some scripts to run against the files that were disrupted and we're able to just run something to make them go back on.
But people were working nights and weekends.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, to fix this problem.
Have we taken precautions to prevent this from happening again?
So this disruption was, from my understanding, we have a group called the SECAS Center. And it's an outfit that sits on the campus at Oneonta. And they are the programmers for Banner implementations of any federal financial aid roll down. So they do it for all of the campuses that are Banner. So we were not the only campus that was hit. Not every campus was hit, but we were not the only one. Oswego and I think Morrisville were the other ones. So they did something very similar to this. It did something very similar to this for their finances as well. So a patch needed to be put in by the SECAS Center to roll this out. So short answer is yes. We are.
Caveat though.
Yeah.
Could still happen again, because part of this is related to the changes in the FAFSA. So there's a defect in the change. And the programming that we thought was fixed actually wasn't really fixed. So the Amazon Web Service that went down, it was the perfect storm. As we were updating our systems, that defect became prominent, and that's when we lost.
Now, I'm not a technical person.
Mhm.
Can we put that system on a separate thing away from Amazon or whoever is running it?
It's all interconnected. It's like a spaghetti of superhighways.
So there's no way of isolating it, putting it someplace else where we won't have to worry about it.
No, but
Not in the cloud.
To your question, Michelle, is it campus specific or would SUNY system have to weigh in on some of this?
it's not SUNY's system. It's a SICA Center is a separate body of people doing this work. So all of the systems are connected, but SUNY's system actually has no instance of a student information system. That's one of the quirks with SUNY and SUNY accounting is that our revenue sits in a separate system from our expenditures. And to get the information from our student information system to SUNY is a manual process for every campus.
And I guess it would be prohibitive for us to have our own system here.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would. So yes, I mean, they're always working. Our IT, I have to say, our IT staff are amongst the best in SUNY. And our cybersecurity guru, our CISO, Paul Chabet, is phenomenal. So what they can stop, they do, but this one came in through an alternate service, one that we didn't program ourselves.
So we almost went down to zero.
Almost. But we were in touch with SUNY system the whole way through, let them know that they were going to see this so that they wouldn't smack us upside the head. So they'll be tracking as it comes back in. It should all be fixed by the end of this month. So our monthly reports will look much better in December.
Thank you. I'm sorry to hear about it, but
Yeah. Okay, so stability plan discussion, as the president was saying, we continue to work biweekly with our friends up at SUNY System Administration. We're tracking every single position that is vacated on this campus, looking at the scope of work that's left behind, divvying it up where we can, eliminating where we can. And every single position gets a thorough vetting from the department head to the vice president, to the president, and to SUNY system. So we're being really thoughtful in what we are moving forward with the plan and what we're not. The current projection is that we're going to remain over our target for FTE, for faculty staff FTE, by the end of this fiscal year. But one of the things, little caveat to that, is we can't predict the future attrition. We don't know who's going to walk into Tehana's office next week and say, hey, I want to retire next month. So what we are showing SUNY is sort of inflated because they're the positions that we know we need today. Now, if someone leaves tomorrow, do we know that we're not going to be able to, or not going to have to recast that position? We don't, but as more people attrit, those numbers should get closer to our goal for the year.
And I just want to add to that, and you've heard it from us before, on this stability plan, the two goals are not necessarily directly aligned. So hitting the fiscal and reducing the number of FTEs on the employee side is the difficult one, because the question that is still on the table is, how does your current complement of faculty support your achievement of mission? And what is the cost of that, which is a separate question. So there's not a clear answer to how many FTEs do you need to stay able to deliver mission. And so, as you can imagine, there will be a point, if you reduce FTEs, you could diminish impact on mission. When SUNY looks across all of the comprehensive schools, all our like schools, we stand in pretty good stead on the key indicators of success, and that's retention and completion. When we look at our 4-year rates, we are at or slightly above the national average. And there's a broad range of schools. Some of the comprehensives are well below, but we're already at the average or slightly better. So we're being asked to do more And the question is, can you do more without investing, or how do you rethink the position? So as we're going through this exercise, and this is year number 2, but year number 1 with the controls in place, we're being very mindful of looking at the functionalities of the positions and not the people in the positions. Because it's really important for a campus like SUNY New Paltz, where people stay for so long, to help think, how can we help people retool to accomplish mission and not just keep people because they're nice people? We might have to move people to positions that will feel different for them to accomplish the task here. So when Michelle reports on and us not being on hitting the target for FTEs, that doesn't mean we're out of sync for budgetary. But now we have 2 things that we have to do. But the third thing is a thing that you will ultimately be measured on, and that is your students' retention and their completion. And so it's not a simple process, and it requires us to function every day and every week when we're meeting, asking ourselves all 3 questions, and how do those align?
You get penalized if you maintain, or do you get rewarded if you don't?
Well, the proof would be in the pudding over time. I mean, what happens to schools in 2028 who don't achieve the goal? And we don't want to find out.
Right, well, you're driven anyhow.
Yeah.
That's where we're at, and the wind is blowing in academics all over.
That's right.
There's no wind behind, and it's all coming at us, but it's coming at everybody.
That's right.
And so it's always compared to what? So hopefully, I know we're doing well with our peers, succeeding, and it's just hard to maintain.
And that's why we have to look very carefully. And then if we need to, make the cogent argument for why our complement of employees look the way they do. But if we increase enrollment and bring in more revenue, that offsets that could put us at a balanced budget with less of an impact on the FTE reduction. So we have to look at those opportunities as well. So Stella and her team, and with the programs that are focused on retention and completion, investing in those so that if we retain students, I think on average, 10% of our students leave. If we reduce that and increase enrollment slightly, those have impacts on our budgets as well.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Stella, enrollment, how are we doing?
So right now for 26, we're up on applications and up on deposits by about 6%, which is good, but we still have another 6 weeks to go before we bring in the spring class. We orient them in January. Fall is also up on all metrics, but it's very early in the enrollment cycle. So it's very hard to hang your hat on that. I will tell you that the admissions team has been pulling out all of the stops. They're even going to local high schools. They're doing some direct admissions programs right there. So even applications and handing admissions letters to students. They're meeting with high school guidance counselors. So far, they've met with over 100 of those guidance counselors just to reorient them to what we offer here at SUNY New Paltz. And one of those guidance counselors, I think, was as far away as in Florida. So it's not just the local, they're casting a wide net. We just recently had a very successful event in the SUNY Global Center in New York City with our arts programs. Our Dean of Fine and Performing Arts attended that with our Executive Director of Admissions and met with high school guidance counselors as well as student athletes. So there's a lot of activity going on, and I think where we can make incremental successes, I think that's going to make a difference. So we're thinking positively about it, but we're in a very competitive market, more so than ever before.
I recognize that, like I said, the wind
Yeah.
blowing their face in every way.
Yes.
Graphics and just the climate.
And yes, and also we're looking at other schools that are really struggling in the area. And as much as we're holding our own, we're very mindful that the climate is really challenging. So
International students, are they still applying, or are we not? Or is that?
it's a trickle at this point. So where we've taken the biggest hit is in graduate program, where I would say half of the numbers that we were actually getting. However, graduate enrollment has gone up. And there's a few reasons for that. I think we're doing a much better job with our events and really reaching out to the students. We have some direct admit programs also for graduates, so we are able to provide them a really rapid answer. Graduate students want to know. We actually have a graduate open house tonight, and we have more accelerated programs. So students who have already chosen New Paltz at the undergraduate level can take a semester, a year of graduate coursework, save money and time, and then finish a master's degree here. And we have about 30 that fit into that.
Is there still an appetite out there for people who want to get an education, even at the graduate level?
Oh, yes. We've seen our applications go up quite a bit. We've exceeded our targets on the graduate side, for sure.
So
And
there
actually
is still
our-
an appetite.
Yes, and in terms of which programs they're gravitating to, education is one of those programs. So the School of Ed on the graduate side is doing well. Undergraduate, they can use some more students.
Do people go to graduate school more often? There's not employment and today or yesterday, 9% unemployment for college graduates. Next year. Didn't stay getting masters.
Yeah. So one thing that we're seeing is we're thinking about giving provisional acceptances to students who haven't even thought to apply. Because sometimes you go home and say, and the family will say, what are you doing next year? And they might have an acceptance. Look, guess what? I have an acceptance to graduate program.
Yeah, that works in the long run because, it's helping.
Yeah.
Are you all done, Michelle? We're okay?
I'm all done.
Okay, and we're bouncing back from the bottom, right? Thank you. All those challenges. Thank you very much. Okay, does anybody have any old business? Any new business? Okay, so this is the last meeting of the calendar year. The next meeting is going to be in the spring. I'm going to wish you all a wonderful Thanksgiving and holiday season. And I'm also going to pitch you, because you're going to be asked to donate from every, anybody get mail here? Mail that isn't a solicitation, okay? I'm just doing it in person. Paltz Foundation, I'd like you to think about, donating here, making a priority. You'll feel good about yourself and you'll feel good about the institution. So just want to reiterate my request that there's so many different ways you can do it. Get somebody who's really in need, get them to graduate, help them along, or a scholarship, or anything you can do. So I'm imploring you to have SUNY New Paltz Foundation at the top of your list. So with that, I thank you all for attending. Yeah, Neil.
The holiday party as well. We'll see
That's
each other at the holiday.
Yeah, that's right.
When will that be now?
That's December 10th.
I'm a-
Yep, that's the town gown holiday party.
I didn't get any information about that.
Okay.
It's going to be from 4 to 6.
We did get an email
Yeah, we
inviting us.
got an email.
You're supposed to RSVP, I think.
Yes,
Okay.
there'll be a reminder email too.
Yeah.
There's one scheduled to go out.
Yeah, so parties always
That's
good.
fine.
Yeah.
I'll solicit, if they let me speak, I'll solicit donations at the party. And cocktail. Fine to give.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, ready, a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second. Thank you, Eleanor. All in favor? See you at the holiday party.
Take care, Julie,
Enjoy that.
Renee.
Bye, Renee.
All
Rennie.
right, thanks. Thank you,
Julie.
Michelle.
See you in December.